team. And today
This meeting is being recorded.
Today we will be speaking on company insights and overview, specifically about our special projects team. Excuse me. So, as you know, this is special projects. We are part of our TransPerfect's recruitment and talent management sector. And we do various things like ranging from career fairs to our little team meetings and team gatherings, as you can see below. So what is special projects? Well, we're more than just talent management and recruiting. We sort of take care of various tasks and projects that is given to us from different hiring managers or anyone that just needs help on a project in general. We're sort of like the superheroes per se. And our team is way bigger than the names listed below. But I will go ahead and introduce myself, and I'll give it over to Jeanette, Eugene, and Jamera. So my name is Kim. I'm a junior recruiter. I started here back in February of 2022. Wow, time flies. My day-to-day includes recruiting, sourcing for passive candidates, and I've recently started getting more into tech roles and sales roles when I started sourcing and recruiting more. And I've recently gotten to career fair coordination. So I do various things like pack bins for career fairs, register and sort of get things ready for career fairs. And I'm moving more into talent management. And I will turn it over to Jamera.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jannat. Nice to meet you all. Thank you all for joining us today. So my name is Jannat, and I'm also a junior recruiter. I actually started off as an intern back in 2020, February. So that was like right before COVID started. And I did my internship throughout COVID. And then I graduated last year and then recently joined as a full-time junior recruiter at TransPerfect. So my day-to-day currently is mostly recruiting and also some talent management projects for recruiting. I recruit for a lot of different departments, including IT, finance, HR, and a lot of tech positions also. And as far as career fairs goes, like Kim, I also lead a lot of career fairs, help organize them and pack the bins, like Kim said. So we do pretty similar, and it's pretty exciting. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Eugene.
Hey guys, I'm Eugene. I started TransPerfect, same as Kim, February 2022. I do recruitment as well. I oversee multiple roles, in particular in the tech as well as sales positions. And I oversee coordination of our affinity group known as Strive, or a employee resource group. And here we cultivate a more inclusive environment, whether it's building out mentorship programs, as hosting in-person or virtual events. But I also participate in various projects pertaining into performance management systems or performing a job analysis on roles, understanding which key performance indicators are needed for each position and benchmarking that via using a job analysis. And that's what I do as of right now. Passing it to Jamera.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamera. I started with TransPerfect back in March of 2019. I started as a sales intern. I went full time with the company in May of 2020, so right in the middle of the pandemic. I ended up leaving sales to go to special projects in April of 2021. Since then, I've been in recruitment. So my role is pretty much split 50-50 between recruitment and talent management. When I am recruiting, I'm typically looking for project coordinators. I'm looking for marketing roles. I'm looking for creatives, if you will. Sometimes like HR roles, but for the most part, consist of project coordination and marketing positions. I'm also a part of Advocate, which is another affinity group or employee resource group here at TransPerfect. I am on the leadership committee. So I help oversee the implementation of events, like getting materials out, advocating for any changes that our employees see they want implemented within the company. And yeah, some of the other things I do within recruitment are like overseeing and revamping our onboarding processes, trying to find different ways and innovative ways to make that better and look better to our candidates when they are going through that process. And yeah, I wear quite a few different hats here, but that's me.
And just to jump right into this, special projects, that is our team title, and we are under a executive team under our CEO, Phil Shaw, and that's who we are. But what we do, we have 4 branches. In particular, the 4 individuals in this call is what we do is recruitment, retention, career development, as well as corporate culture, diversity, equity, inclusion, and employee experience. And our other team members focus on tech branding and content development, as well as tech product and development. In special projects, we consider ourselves as internal consultants. We drive strategic initiatives, as well as facilitate organizational development and change, as well as problem solve with conversations with our hiring managers or other managers that may seem to have, whether it's developing a job description and having those conversations with different coworkers, as well as implement new trainings throughout the company. Recently, we had a best practices for recruitment training, as well as hiring manager training and divisional trainings. And in recruitment, we are an in-house recruitment team, and some of the departments that recruit for is technology, client services, marketing, legal services, life sciences, and etc. And our main focus is to continuously build out candidate pipelines and attract and retain top talent at TransPerfect.
So our mission is to be the world's leading language solutions provider by continuously exceeding the expectations of our clients, employees, and suppliers. So TransPerfect is a global company right now. We actually started off as a translation company, but as we saw, our clients actually needed a lot more services than just translation. So we decided to take it upon ourselves, to really go ahead and provide those services and become really their top person to go to for whatever they need help with. With that, given that TransPerfect became a global company now, we have over 7,500 employees all over the world. We have over 120 locations worldwide. We actually recently, with the merger with Semantics, we actually recently reached our 1.1 billion in revenue, which was a big achievement for us. For the next slide, we have the family of companies, and this couldn't have been done without our family of companies. So all of these different services that we are providing, we need help, so we do go ahead and really find these different companies who are working towards the same goal as us, and really bringing them all together under TransPerfect and really working together with them. So here are some of them that are listed here, but yeah, that's a family of companies for TransPerfect.
All right, and so TransPerfect's culture. So something that sets TransPerfect apart from other companies is our lack of red tape and our core values. So what is red tape, right? So red tape in a traditional company typically means following a hierarchy, a chain of command, having to go through several processes in order to get something done. But we don't really have that here. We have a lot of autonomy within our company. So what does that mean, right? So your career journey is quite literally in your hands here. If you have an idea, share it. If you have a suggestion, share it. If you have a question, ask it. Many, if not all of our successful leaders started in entry-level positions, and they worked their way up by simply coming up with new ways to make their day-to-day lives easier. They simply saw a problem and they came up with a solution over and over and over again. You will hear that throughout TransPerfect as many people's success story. But yeah, so what may seem like a small change could have huge impact on the company. So we always want to hear whatever your suggestions may be. So TransPerfect is a company that encourages employees to have an entrepreneurial mindset. This directly ties in with our core values like own it, service, and results. The core values of TransPerfect are present throughout the entire company, regardless of where you may be seated, no matter the office, no matter the country. You can certainly feel our core values. So here you will see all of our core values, which consist of integrity, respect, quality, diversity, service, teamwork, own it, financial responsibility, results, and urgency. And again, you can feel and see all of these on a day-to-day level, whether you're sitting in sales, sitting in production, sitting in our area with our team. We all embody these core values that make TransPerfect such a great place to be a part of.
So we like everybody has been saying, we are a team of people who we're not just working, we're doing a lot of different things. That includes fun, having fun. On the left, you could see Jamera playing Jenga. We actually recently did this, and on this particular day, I kept losing 3 times in a row, which wasn't fun for me, but it was fun for them. It was really nice to play with the team. And then in the middle, you could see all of us holding hats. This was actually a workshop type of thing where we did like the 6 hat method, where we were all working together to really solve a problem. Where all 6 of us were bringing our different perspectives and really trying to solve that one issue at hand. And we actually ended up solving like all of our different problems that we all brought up, which was really fun to do with the team. And then on the right, this was like a team outing we did. This was on a rooftop. You could see the Empire State is in the back of the picture, which was really fun. So that's a little bit snippet of what we do as a team at TransPerfect.
So our affinity groups, as me and Eugene mentioned, with what our day-to-days consist of, affinity groups, again, they are employee resource groups. Our affinity groups are run by employees and they are for employees. And these are just 4 that we wanted to put some spotlight on. So we have working women, and working women, it's exactly how the name sounds, right? It's a group that was formed to really put the spotlight on the successful women that we have at TransPerfect, and even those that are looking to be successful, and just to create a network where like-minded individuals can speak to each other and get advice from each other and just rely on one another. Strive, like Eugene mentioned, he oversees that particular affinity group, and their main priority is to create inclusion and create pathways for our employees of color. And then there's Advocate, which I oversee, and Advocate is an LGBTQ focused employee resource group. Our goal here is to really be a voice for those within the company that feel that they don't have one. We tend to put on many events at this point, probably monthly events that really cater to the community, whether it's a light event like poetry or reading and tea. Sometimes we have more in-depth topics like intersectionality, but again, our goal is to really educate the TransPerfect community on a number of different things that we feel is important for everybody to know. And then we also have Ladies in Legal. Ladies in Legal is a very unique affinity group. We have both internal employees and we also have clients, so external individuals a part of this group. And this has been very successful thus far. We hadn't had a group like Ladies in Legal, but it's proven to be very successful, having clients and employees all mixing it together. And the networking that happens there is insane. The productivity that's coming out of Ladies in Legal it's really great. So those are affinity groups.
So after hearing a little bit more about our background on the special projects team and a little bit more about TransPerfect, and would like to apply to one of our open roles that we have available, you can always visit us at transperfect.com/careers to apply, or you can contact us at careers.jobs@transperfect.com if you do have any questions, or you can contact our team directly, the special projects team, at sprecruiters@transperfect.com. Does anybody have any questions?
This is awesome. So I'll kick it off with a couple of questions, and I'm glad you guys covered, obviously from what you do to how the company culture is. But let's travel back in time, and if each of you can talk about your own pathway of how you got to TransPerfect, we'll kick it off that way.
Yeah.
Sure, I guess I'll go first. I actually started off in HR, which was definitely leading into my recruitment side of things that I'm doing now. But I started off as an HR assistant for a pharmaceutical company. And I remember working with a lot of outside recruiters, and I was like, oh, this seems like something I'd really want to do. So I started looking more into recruitment, but a lot of the companies that I was working for, I realized it wasn't really the community that I was looking for. And I remember seeing TransPerfect, their open roles, and I came to the office, I met the team. It was fantastic. Everybody was like super, like it felt like I knew these people already, the way that I was welcomed and greeted. And, from there, it definitely has just been, just a great community, a great environment for me. And yeah.
You go ahead, Manal.
Okay. Yeah. So I got started with TransPerfect while I was still in college. I started as a junior. In my second semester, I started as a sales intern. I was doing really well in my role. I enjoyed what I was doing. I got a full-time offer in February of 2020. So right before the pandemic, and like any college kid at that point, I was super excited to get my full-time offer way before graduation. So of course I accepted the offer naturally, because I was already doing the work of a full-timer basically, just with limited hours, which was great, right? Because I had all the experience I needed. I went full-time in my sales role in May as soon as I graduated. I graduated, went full-time, and I was doing a full-time sales role, and I was pretty happy in that, but I wasn't fulfilled in that role, to be very honest with you. And that led me to want to explore other avenues within TransPerfect, because I love the company, I love the culture, I love the people around me, but I just wasn't happy with my particular job. So through some networking, I actually joined Strive as a mentee, and I was connected with a mentor who would, at this time, she was actually a chair for advocate and still is a chair on advocate. But of course, at the time I didn't know that. So through Strive, I was able to get a mentor, and she basically got me involved with advocate. And she also helped me network onto the special projects team just through connections and knowing different people. So that's how I was really able to make my switch into special projects and recruitment. So again, having that sales background, already comfortable with talking to people, you know, cold outreach, all these the things that come with being in sales, recruitment was like almost like a seamless transition, because I was like essentially selling a company, selling a job, selling culture, you know, it's not selling a product or a service anymore. So I still am really happy here. And so basically, since I've gotten started, I would say my role switched from being a recruiter to now, again, being 50-50 talent management and recruitment. While we're not the HR team, we are adjacent to the HR team. So we work very closely with them on a number of different things. They are involved with our onboarding process. So we work really close, but we are not HR. So I guess that's a really good distinction I want to make. Special projects is not HR, but we are adjacent. But yeah, that's my career journey at TransPerfect thus far. Who knows where it'll go from here.
Sure. I was also an intern like Jamira before. So mine was that I started my internship right when COVID hit, and it was pretty interesting because we had to go fully remote. Before that, I was doing hybrid, you know, coming into the office whenever I can after classes. So just like doing that whole thing where I'm remote, you know, I had to communicate with my manager all the time. So having that support from my manager and being able to, you know, juggle my classes, do my leadership programs on campus, and also do an internship. I feel like I've had such a strong support from my manager and the team that I was working with. I really like TransPerfect and the culture, right? So that made me wanna, when I was nearing my graduation, I'm like, okay, what should I do next? I wasn't sure exactly what type of career I would want to go into. So I decided, you know, let me try something at TransPerfect, since I already like the company. And also recruiting looked really interesting to me. Just like I knew I had the communication skills, I knew I could work with people. I just didn't know what exactly I would want to do. So I ended up in recruiting, you know, joined special projects, and now I do really enjoy recruitment, but also the talent management side of things. And just my journey itself, I feel like there's just so much to learn. You could start off in one place, like Jamara said, and then end up somewhere else. It's always really like, what can you learn from that experience and really see where you want to go? And even if you don't know, just like exploring different things, talking to your people, talking to your coworkers, talking to your manager, and really talking to them, asking them questions, you know, what did you do to, you know, move forward in your career? So really just asking questions. There's never a bad question. Like everyone says, you know, that's like at the culture at TransPerfect. You could be asking whatever you want and expect to hear an answer, and then go from there. So I feel like that's how I have been so far. I'll just go ahead and pass it over to Eugene.
Yeah, to answer this question very shortly is I did a lot of coffee chats with individuals with multiple corporations. And during the time I was interviewing for 3 companies, and TransPerfect was one of them first. And just having those conversations with individuals in TransPerfect already kind of gave me a better understanding of the culture. And that's like the main reason why I joined, and having that great conversation with the hiring manager and continuously streamlining that process. But I think the biggest takeaway is always network and utilize the resources around you to better understand what type of things that you'll be doing and understand the job responsibilities that you'll be tackling. Just being a better learner, expert learner is something to be taking from this.
That's awesome. So we heard you heard about TransPerfect from, working. You interned through coffee chats. These are all great different ways that most people don't really think about as a way of learning about a job, or really more about finding a company. Because, from what you are sharing, it wasn't so much about the job, it was more about the place, the community that you were joining. And, unfortunately, that's not always the case for everyone. As they're, looking for a job, they're thinking about, I want to do this job, and, whoever's going to pay me X amount of what I need. But really, when you dig deeper, it goes beyond, the name of the company, how much you're making. It's got to fit, right? So I'm glad all of you talked about kind of that corporate culture, because it's not something that many corporations know how to do well. So we got a question coming in. What are some of the hottest jobs right now? And I'm assuming, you're going to speak about it on in terms of TransPerfect. So anybody can go.
I mean, I think tech jobs are always hot jobs. So the tech industry, especially during the pandemic, has boomed, or at least, just the talk about it on social media, and, tech has just been really exposed. So that's definitely a boom for us. But yes. So that was going to bring me to my next point. I would say the next hot job, at least at TransPerfect, is I'm going to say project coordination as a whole, because our project coordinators, they can specialize in various areas. E-discovery is a pretty new area in general, like in the job market. So it's a very niche area within project management. But yeah, e-discovery project coordinators, they are hot right now. E-discovery professionals in general, they are hot. And that's what my recruitment consists of. So that's the role I bring up first. I don't know if they would have any other jobs that you guys think might be better, hotter, or more on the market right now. What's better than e-discovery?
I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, project coordination is very, very much in demand. Project coordination, project management, definitely can always use that skill set no matter where you're at.
I mean, for my personally, I'm working a lot on operations roles, and I know they're looking for a lot of different they're really looking for the right fit, somebody who is able to who is willing to learn and really grow with the team. And it's always finding the candidate who is looking to learn, rather than somebody who's done this before, especially for an entry level role. You're not going to find somebody who's done this 10 years before this. So it's really just finding the right fit, like you mentioned earlier, and finding somebody who is interested, somebody who wants to grow with the company, somebody who has the communication skills. And even if you don't, wanting to learn, willing to ask questions,
goes a very long way.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was also going to say the sales team is always definitely looking for somebody new. So like account managers, account executives, senior executive account executives. That seems to be, the most that I'm getting from the sales team as well. So if you have a client facing background, that'll definitely get you pretty far in TransPerfect.
That's awesome. What skills would you say students right now, let's say they're juniors, even sophomores in high school, they need to be developing right now so they can be a great candidate for the hottest jobs that you discussed?
I would definitely say communication skills, especially via email. The world that we live in is very virtual.
Yep.
So if you can communicate effectively through email, you are good to go. Next to that, I would say is Excel. And maybe this is too broad to say, but Excel is super duper important. If you're using it for your own personal reasons, if you're using it because you need to go through data for your team, whatever the reason might be, Excel is a must. And just basic computer literacy. You would be very surprised how many people don't have basic computer literacy.
Yeah.
Very surprised.
That's true.
There was one more I wanted to say as well, but I think those two I would say are two big ones.
Professional language, really. I feel this is something that we don't learn much when we're in high school, or even in college. We do learn about it a little bit, but in high school, I think that's something you could definitely focus on. Just talking to your teacher and being able to talk effectively, like Jamera said, and not being too informal. in emails especially. I feel like that really shows the type of like where you're trying to go, shows that you're serious about this, you're taking this seriously, you're doing your research. Oh, doing your research, actually, that that reminds me. If you're talking to anybody, like any employers, and you're networking with somebody, right? Always good to do some research, always good to, search up the person beforehand on LinkedIn. And then if you're talking to them, it could be like, hey, I actually learned about you from LinkedIn. I saw you did this, that. I was actually curious more to learn about this. So you could talk like that, and that really shows that you're interested and you're really willing to learn. So yeah, that's something.
Anything else, Eugene or Kim?
I think for technical skills, if you are interested in computer science, anything regards to C series or JavaScript, if you're into web development or Java, Python, I think those are languages that are booming right now, especially C series.
Like I said before, like I definitely think having a client facing or building your client facing background is really, really good. Just being able to talk to people is always, a huge, strong skill that should be learned. Like these coordinator roles, liaison roles, or even like sales roles, you'll be talking to a lot of people, to a lot of clients. And so I'd say like honing in on your people skills would be really, really helpful moving forward, because that's within almost every role these days.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
So now for those students who are in college, I know a couple of you mentioned career fairs. How can the students take advantage of those? Like where do they find them? Like how do they find one of you at one of those career fairs?
So, I mean, typically your colleges do career fairs. So you could definitely go to your college careers team and really ask them, like, are there career fairs coming up? You could also go on the website, like the school website, and find the career tab there. But for us, we also go on Handshake, where we do a lot of our career fairs. We find the universities through Handshake, and we register through them. And also just like connecting with us on LinkedIn is really helpful. And just like reaching out to us like directly there, because obviously we're recruiters, we're always in search for candidates. So definitely just making those connections, talking to people.
Yeah, and if you were like following the TransPerfect page on LinkedIn, we also have career fairs, which are called TPT Explorers. And that's
Right.
a career fair where we put on and we essentially open and send an invitation to anybody and everybody that wants to attend. So you can get a really good understanding of TransPerfect, what's being offered, and just a good way to learn TransPerfect in depth, but outside of like your traditional college career fair. And typically with TPT Explorer, we also like will have one-on-one interviews with candidates or students right after the main session. So we're speaking with them immediately and trying to find roles or just gauging out their interest, because not every student that comes is interested in a career, in an internship at that moment, but they may be interested in 6 months or a year.
Right.
So like we keep them on our radar, especially if we really enjoyed the conversation with that student.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, in the interest of time, we'll go with our last question. And I always like to close these with one thing that you could share. What's one thing you would have told yourself that would be helpful for you as you reflect back on how to be successful finding the job that you want? Sorry, that was a long-winded question, but one advice you would give yourself if you were younger.
I would say expect the unexpected, because I think, like most people, like my major changed way too many times, or I thought it was going to be one thing and then it turned out to be another thing. And I ended up not even liking those things in general. So, I ended up in a space that I felt really, really comfortable with, and I feel like I'm able to grow and I'm continuously growing in. So definitely expect the unexpected, because you'll turn out to be in something that you really, really love that you're not even expecting to even be like in your life path whatsoever.
For me, this is something I always think about, is building your connections, but also having like a mentor, like not one, but not two, as many as you can, really make those connections and try to make them your mentor and ask them questions and really keep them close always. That really helps with your career, like in the long run, because you can always go back to them and talk to them about your career and what you're doing in like the professional setting. As much as you can have somebody personally, it's always really good to have somebody professionally for your mentor.
I definitely agree with the mentor. I had a mentor all through college, and then even once I got to TransPerfect, I was able to find a mentor here. I would say to explore your options and keep the door open, because you really don't know what's on the other side of a door. I think in my experience with how my internships went when I was looking, I think I was pretty tunnel vision. Like, I was like, oh, TransPerfect's a great company. They have, it's everything that I was looking for, but I didn't allow myself to explore other options. So, I don't know to this day what it's like to work anywhere else outside of TransPerfect. That's actually what makes me scared to leave, because the culture here is so great, but I don't think I will ever find another company with this type of culture. But that's a great thing, right? Like, it's a good thing and it's also a bad thing, but, definitely keep the door open, explore your options. You really don't know what's out there.
Yeah, and to close everything off, I think networking starting in undergrad is something that's very important. If you especially are interested in bigger companies, bigger names, you have to have a way in, and that's like an easier pipeline to do so. And that's something I wish I did earlier.
Eugene, you were having coffee meetings. That's a great example of
Yeah.
networking.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. This has been awesome, and I really appreciate you all taking the time to chat with us. And I'm surprised you guys didn't mention special projects. It's a great place to be. So you should have been recruiting, but maybe that's what you were trying to get people to get interested subconsciously. So thank you, and hopefully we can do this again soon. But for now, happy holidays, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.